Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Did anyone watch the BAFTAs?
No, I was gonna watch it, but I didn't.
I'm gonna watch it.
Have you seen any of the highlights or anything?
No, I've been trying to avoid it.
So you don't even know who won?
No, I have no idea who won anything.
Oh, mad. Should I say right now?
Please
No.
don't.
He said, please.
But I wanted to talk about something that actually, nah, I'm gonna say it. It's not. Nah. I just want to talk about the translators.
Go on then.
Because I thought it was interesting because the woman doing Japanese translation, she had like a board with her while she was on stage, which I hadn't seen before. Usually, like the translators just stand there, they listen to the words, repeat the words. I don't know what she was writing down. Maybe she was writing down like keywords to remember. But as I was watching it, it's like surely this is like below tier translator levels. If you can't just like hear the words and go straight away. Like if you have to have like a board that you got to write down notes whilst you're doing the translation, standing there on stage. I don't know. I didn't rate it. I didn't rate her translation skills. Like, is that maybe you just pay less money and you get someone like that who needs a board? I don't know.
It would have thought for like a big film award though, they would have got someone good in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know.
If there's someone that's not that expensive that can just do it.
Okay. Bong Joon-ho's translator was like elite that whole season.
So was Marco Bielsa's.
Oh yeah. So surely and there must be an elite Japanese translator who could have been around today, because I don't know who hires them, whether it's BAFTA or it's the filmmaker's production company or whatever, or maybe in the filmmaker himself. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Should we compare it to the deaf translators as well? Obviously, they've been around on the awards circuit this season with all the stuff that Coda's been doing. But that they're even more mad, especially because it's like different. Because you've got American Sign Language and British Sign Language. They have one of each. But I just find it so mad. Sign language just seems so mad to me how you're able to understand it. Like there's so many. It's so specific. Like it's not words. It's like the smallest hand gestures, like develop into like different words. Like, I don't know. It's just I just find it kind of mad, and how these translators are able to see what they're doing and know straight away what they're trying to communicate. I don't know. It's been impressive. There's my standouts of the BAFTAs, the translators. Not gonna lie, because it was an amazing show. Rebel Wilson has had a few tough moments. She's
a good host.
Oh my god.
Nah, there was like 2 or 3 times that I laughed, but I feel like it's less about the times you laugh and more about the the moments where you just feel so awkward watching the screen, like how I feel watching a lot of the Apprentice tasks when they're floundering. There was too few many moments of that where the whole room just wasn't feeling the jokes. Yeah.
Someone said today that she made a really awkward joke about Will Smith's kind of like wife, and everyone just like didn't laugh, and it was really awkward.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, why did she do that?
To be fair, it's funny, but like you
have to like be a certain person to pull that kind of funny off though.
Yeah, like Ricky Gervais
could put, yeah.
He definitely would have done that joke. Like I appreciate it. I laughed. I appreciate it. But in the room, it was like no one was really feeling that vibe in that moment. I feel like BAFTA's more too sophisticated for those kind of shots. But yeah, that was tough.
Has everyone seen Batman?
Yeah, sick.
I don't like it.
Leon?
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it? Damn.
No.
Why not?
Don't know, it's 3 hours in it. No, joke. I just haven't. I was gonna go last Thursday and then forgot. Then I woke up late, and then I was gonna go Sunday, and then I woke up late. So, and so I was gonna go before my show because I don't really want to go when it's not a day I'm not working, but I might have to this week at some point. I feel like I definitely like it because I liked his 2 Planet of the Apes films. It sounds like
I want to wait, Mason. Tell me why. What don't you like?
I really like it.
I thought you said you don't. I thought you said you don't like it.
I like it.
I thought he said he didn't like it as well.
I thought you said you didn't like it. You definitely
You
said
definitely
that.
said you didn't like it. We
He's
got this
backtracking. He's
recorded.
backtracking now because the other two people said they liked it.
Yeah, we
It's
all
not like
heard it.
Matty and oh wait, no, that's a spoiler. It won't help with the storyline of the podcast. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I think the Riddler's a bit. I don't know. He was my least favorite part of the film, probably.
I think he's better than the Jim Carrey one though, so it's still an
That
improvement.
one.
Him
He
and
just screams. It's just a bit like
Paul Dano and Zoe Kravitz are the best part of the film.
Hmm. But mate, it's just a vibe. Like all of it is
Yeah.
a vibe. Like the tone of Gotham, the way Batman like conducts himself, the way the police react to him, and then like the progression of all the characters, and then the progression of like Batman's perception. It's just fucking. It's
So
pretty-
a
pretty
video of it was on TikTok, and it was like Batman when he sees the bat symbol, and it's him running up to his makeup mirror, putting on his black makeup. And then... I don't think in the Batman though there was enough Bruce Wayne.
No. I feel like even with a 3-hour film, they gotta have some trade-off, and they really developed the Batman, and just I don't know. Bruce Wayne probably had like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it must have been about that. It's really not much.
But like that's fair because I feel like Christian Bale like really like done bits with like showing who Bruce Wayne could be and explaining that over a trilogy really made sense. I feel like there wasn't much need to do that again, and the same like there isn't the need to like really develop Alfred again, considering how developed he has been before.
Lee Circus was literally in about 3 scenes, I reckon.
Yeah. So then like developing like Catwoman as well instead, who was like poorly done before. I think not that to hold anything against Christopher Nolan's work. Obviously, you can't do everyone perfectly, but you know,
Didn't do Tenet perfectly.
yeah, I think as a film, it's not going to be what you've seen before, and I think they smashed it. To be honest, so I hope they're going to do like 2 more at least.
Yeah, surely
Probably
they'll do
will.
a sequel. I like as well that this one addresses that he has the makeup around his eyes because he isn't Batman and goes to like a club as Bruce Wayne and he's still got like remnants of the black makeup around his eyes.
Hmm.
No other film ever like addresses that. It's
Yeah.
quite weird, but yeah, I like just like those kind of details.
And a minor spoiler, but not really, Leon. But like he just goes around when he's not being Batman. He just like dresses up as just like a motorcyclist and just like zips around on a motorbike, like with a helmet on, like so no one knows who he is and he can get around like easy without. He doesn't have to run around in his bat cape all the time, you know. So that I just think it's just nice. Like logistical details work really well in this film, and it cleans up a lot of like stuff that looks funny. Like in the old films, you never saw Bruce Wayne, even like Christian Bale, like, run away. He's just always gone when you turn back around, and it gets a bit kind of like tiring after like the 3rd film when he just keeps like disappearing mid conversation. Like it's kind of rude. So I feel like
And
this
This one as well, I think it's less like high tech and more like realistic. Like in the other one, he kind of jumps off buildings and his cape like just extends itself and he floats using that. And like the Batmobile is just like fucking ridiculous in like the Nolan ones. But then this one is more just like a supercar with a bit of armor.
yeah.
And like his bat cape to be able to fly, he has to like do it up and he has to like take a minute to like do it up and get ready before he can like fly off the building and stuff.
Yeah, it's like if any of the Batman film before this had been like gritty, this one just like trumps all of it. Like it's very, very grounded and down to earth and just hard hitting.
Someone said just for the rest of our lives, every 20 years is going to be an even grittier Batman until it's just until it's just too gritty. Grittiest.
It's not even a meme. It's just true. Like they just get
scream for the dirt.
harder and harder.
That's what she said.
Calm. That's all I wanted to say. Back to you at the studio.
The head-to-head. Disney's The Silver Age, I think. Yeah. Jungle Book versus Lady and the Tramp. Whenever I hear Tramp now, I think of that the video of the black girl calling the fox a tramp. It's the funniest. It's the funniest thing. It's like, why would you call it? Get out of the road, you tramp. It's just
You
so funny.
tramp! Get out the road, you tramp!
The Jungle Book. Bagheera the panther and Baloo the bear have a difficult time trying to convince a boy to leave the jungle for human civilization. That sounds really funny. That's synopsis. Yeah, it's just the plot. It's just trying to convince a boy to leave the jungle for human civilization. It's funny. All right, the Jungle Book. This was interesting. I think this is like 64, and then Lady and the Tramp was like 10 years before, something like that. And this was kind of disappointing for me. I'm not gonna lie, because this feels like it would have been a classic, something that was thoroughly enjoyable as a kid. That's the thing coming back to all these Disney films. Like, obviously, it's not going to be as good as when you were a kid, but you're kind of hoping there'll be some nostalgia there, or there'll be some moments that actually feel cool, or the animation looks nice, or there'll be funny moments, whatever. Jungle Book, just like it was kind of sad how little I was into it. It was because it felt a bit lazy a lot of the film. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was kind of my first impressions. I don't know. Did anyone else have a subdued reaction watching the Jungle Book this time around as 23-year-old people, nearly? Some of you. Ross?
Yeah, well, for some reason, as like a kid, I remember it being one of my like favorite classic Disney ones, but I watched it last year and I didn't like it as much. And I've watched it again now and I still like it's I feel like it gets more disappointing. I don't know why. It's I can't like put my finger on it either. I don't really know, because I really like it's got quite like a good vibe about it, I guess. And I think I like the characters and the music's good. Like I Want to Be Like You and
Well, I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP.
That slaps, that song, by the way. But yeah, there's something about it. So I say I can't really put my finger on it, but it's not right. And I kind of found it hard to keep interest throughout the film and kind of keep focused. And I think I don't really like the ending where he just sees a girl and she's just doing like putting faces at him. And then he just like forever wants to be like in the human civilization now. It's a bit weak. And so I like what's the tiger called? I like Baloo and Bagheera as like mentors, and how they kind of, that was my favorite relationship in the film, and kind of the best part of the film, I think, like them two interacting. But yeah, apart from that, Mowgli's a bit annoying as well. So yeah.
I like how they call him Man Cub. Might start calling my little brother Man Cub. It's kind of funny. Man Cub. Mason, you were nodding your head in agreement when I was expressing my disappointing reaction to this film. Can you put your finger on why it perhaps didn't hit as much as it did as a kid, or did it even hit for you as a kid? I don't know.
Yeah, it used to slap as a kid. I feel like Ross said, I don't know why, but I told myself it was one of my favorites. I probably haven't seen it since being an adult. So when I watched it a few days ago, it's quite a tough watch, to be honest, for an hour and 20 film. I mean, my biggest dislike of the film is, like you said, it's quite lazy when it comes to any kind of development. And I don't like how he's just immediately going from each like different animal, and a lot of the animals don't really come back. And then I don't know, I feel like you could do so much more with it. And I feel like my perception of the film was that it would be better probably through watching the live action remake that came out, because I think that kind of hyped up the story and the development more. Whereas, who's the main villain? Is it Shere Khan? Like, he's only in it for like 5 minutes at the end, basically. And even the end fight scene was pretty shit. And then that's it, it's just done. And like Ross said, after this entire journey, this entire battle of him being like proving that he deserves to be in the jungle, it takes him 1 second to see the first female that he ever saw for him to be like, do you know what? I think I'm gonna go. And it's just, it doesn't make sense. And then, yeah, like you said, it was surprisingly disappointing. And it's quite sad, really, because I hardly took anything away from watching this again on as an adult. I was just kind of like, oh, this wouldn't be something I'd want to go show my kids, because I'd be like, it's not going to slap. You can watch Turning Red instead.
Matt, are you going to rescue Jungle Book from this assault on its reputation, or are you in a similar mindset?
Always been a slow film, and I think even when you're younger, it's kind of like the peacefulness of the jungle that you kind of remember from it. And I think realistically as well, he's not going to beat up a tiger. The tiger would fucking rip him apart. So I don't think there's really an option having like a dramatic fight scene like you see in a lot of the live, they're not live action adaptations, but the kind of live action sort of. But I think it's definitely a story that's been built on well, and I think a lot of the Disney live actions have been pretty trash or unneeded or kind of just like in a different direction. Like if you look at the Lion King one, the Lion King's good, but it takes away like all of the character of the original film. And I feel like in this case, they just improve upon it, which is good. And it's an old film, and I don't dislike it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot, and it has a lot of character, and it's kind of slow in its own way, and it's not as exciting. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, I like it, and yeah, he is a bit of a simp, to be honest. Like it makes sense. Like he's just like, yeah, now I'm out. But it's a weird thing to turn him for the character development. Maybe if like one of like Bagheera or Blue had died for him, and then he realizes, damn, yeah, I probably shouldn't be in the jungle. That might have been a little bit better for him to actually make a grown-up decision rather than just still following out of his own interest. But that's, I don't know, that's something maybe more with the story, and I think the story is a lot older than this film is. So I don't think it's awful. I mean, yeah, it's not as exciting as some of the other films, but the other films have like mad stacked casts as well. But still, the musical numbers just can't really be beaten either, even in the live action remakes.
I'm always surprised how many of these Disney films are adaptations. Like because they just feel so synonymous with Disney. I just assume like Cinderella's Disney, Jungle Book's Disney when it's not. Like, so many of them are just adaptations of stuff that's come a long time before, but Disney has made it their own. But yeah, next film, Lady and the Tramp. The romantic tale of a sheltered uptown cocker spaniel dog and a streetwise downtown mutt. Yeah. Lady and the Tramp. What do you think, Mason?
Again, this is one I really liked as a kid, and I think it was just because it was dogs. I think it was just the simple reason in my head as a child. I was like, "Oh, it's dogs, I like it." I probably didn't even take in the story at all. But watching it as an adult, this was the complete opposite to Jungle Book, to where how I knew it was kind of a romance. I was like, I mean, it can't really be that good. It's a romance about two dogs, and this is 10 years older than Jungle Book, and yet I preferred it in every way to Jungle Book. I just think there's more development, and as I think you can take a lot more from it as an adult, and I think you can really appreciate the high quality film that they made back in, was it the 50s? So yeah, a positive experience rewatching Lady and the Tramp.
What about you, Ross?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, it's got a really nice, like, chilled out vibe to a lot of it. And I think, like, I know the scene where they're eating the spaghettis, obviously, like, it's obviously iconic, and like, it gives me like before sunset kind of vibes on when they're like in that kind of setting. So I really like that. And it's just a nice story about people from two different backgrounds. I think whether they're like dogs or not, it's still like something you can get into. And I don't know, like I don't know, like the West Side Story kind of vibe. That it's two like different, they're rival like gangs, but these are like two different kind of backgrounds like coming together. I think like against all odds, and like you always like root for those kind of couples and those kind of films. And yeah, and it's got all the other characters in it as well, really likable. And I really like how all of the dogs have an accent, like depending on where they're from. Like the Scottish dog is Scottish, and that kind of stuff. And there's like a German dog at one point or something like that. I can't remember. It's something like that. And yeah, I really like that. Like kind of the British Bulldog as well. Like, all right, mate. It's really funny in that kind of aspect. And there is a lot of like kind of more comedic elements as well that I think work better than the Jungle Book, like the accents and stuff. And yeah, just a really nice story, and like a good vibe. And it's something a lot more enjoyable. And I think it's like the same length. It's pretty similar length. It's like they're both like 1 hour 20, but this one feels like it goes by a lot smoother, a lot easier, and more enjoyable.
It is funny how they're all like 1 hour 20, all these films, because as a kid they felt so long because your attention span is so much shorter. So it felt like an experience to sit there and watch it. Now it's 1 hour 20, you're just in and out like it's nothing. But yeah, this film fucking banged. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there like, what the hell? Why am I so engrossed in what's going on right now? I was not expecting it. I basically expected, I think Dumbo was an example of one that I think is actually really good. it actually like stood out among all these other kids' films as something that was actually like a really kind of exceptional film. But even that wasn't as like so I was expecting like I could kind of, I don't know, brush my teeth or do other shit whilst I was watching the film at the same time. But I ended up being sat there. I was sat forward on my chair watching this on a Friday afternoon or wherever it was, just completely engrossed in this dog's experience. I fucking loved it. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I know I really enjoyed this as a kid, and it actually feels like it's somehow better watching it now. There's actually some like craft going on that I thought was really cool. So yeah, so three of us liked it, having disliked the previous film. So if we're following a pattern, Matty's going to dislike it. Let's find out, Matty.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sick. Nah, I can't really say that this is not going to be better. It's just better than Jungle Book easily, and it's like people love dogs, and even if you don't like dogs, it's got cats in here, so for a bit, kind of questionably, but no, it's just a really, really well thought out, like lovable film. Everyone's got their own quirks, as Ross says, and it kind of shows like watching it again for the second time, well, probably the second or third, I can't remember. For the first time in probably like 10 years or whatever. Like you can kind of like, you just see how like pampered her life is. And then looking at the Tramp's then way of life as well, it's just like a really stark contrast. And then, I mean, if these two dogs can figure it out, anyone can, it's a hope, a little bit of hope for everyone as well. And it's also like no one can understand the dog, so like the level of frustration as well when the dogs are trying to explain about the rat and trying to look after the baby, and then the stupid, I hate that aunt. I think it really like engrosses you into the story, and you really want to like fight for these dogs.
I thought Matty's going to do like a twist. Then he's going to be like, I can't really say that it's not a complete pile of shit. So I thought he's going to do something, a twist like that. That would have been funny. Okay. Categories, performances. I'm just gonna say straight off, I'm gonna give this to Jungle Book because it's gonna get peak for Jungle Book from here on out. But in terms of iconic voice performances, Jungle Book I think is superior. Like I can't really think of what a lot of the characters like sound like specifically. Whereas Jungle Book, like Baloo, and I get Baloo, Shere Khan, bit of Bagheera, less so Mowgli, and then the apes, which obviously they're the racist, probably the most racist part of the film is Disney just loves to make black people apes, and they do. It's like they always be doing some kind of jazz soul kind of music that you associate with black people. That's another funny part of this is the message that Disney have to put at the start of all these films saying, yeah, we apologize for all the racisms and shit that we were doing back then. So here you go. But yeah, the vocal performances of Jungle Book I think are much more iconic. I think that's kind of why Jungle Book is a much more popular piece of popular entertainment because of the voices. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a point for that. Mason, performances.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the performances, like you said, because of the voices, I think that's why the songs are a lot more iconic as well. Because as soon as you hear the song, you associate it with the character. Whereas the songs, say in Lady and Tramp, I don't actually remember them now. I only remember He's a Tramp, which like the little like not prostitute dog, but like the rough girl dog. She sings it.
Slag.
So like I think when it comes to performance, there's something a lot more like that distinguishes the voices in Jungle Book, and it can't be because we watched it more as a kid. Because I probably watched these equally as a kid, but for some reason I know what each character is supposed to sound like in Jungle Book, which doesn't make sense because, like Ross said, all of the dogs have an accent depending on what breed of dog they are. So really, it should be a lot more iconic for Lady and the Tramp. So I guess that's an achievement for a Jungle Book.
Ross, performances.
Yeah, as I say, like with Lady and the Tramp, it like as Mason said as well, they got the accents going on for like the breeds, but that's all that's really going for it. I think I do like Tramp's, like whoever voice acts him, because he's like suave as fuck. Like I'd shag Tramp, not gonna lie. Like he's yeah, so that's I'd credit to that. But I think Jungle Book, it's really iconic. Just like I don't know, like the bare necessities song with Bagheera's voice, and like I want to be like you, King Louis' voice. It's all quite like iconic in that sense, and like you recognize them pretty quickly. And there's a lot. I like the random like Beatles as the vultures as well. That's quite like funny, that kind of thing as well. It's got a lot going on there, and it's I think in a kids film having like OTT like voices like that, like Baloo is just like ridiculously like dopey in his voice, and it like comes from his character, but it works really well. And like Bagheera being all like up front, like posh and stuff, and like Car's like snake voice as well. It's all like it's over the top, but it's iconic. And yeah, like Shere Khan being like a evil voice, like that kind of thing. Idris Elba was a good person to do that, by the way, and Shere Khan in the new one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it Jungle Book as well.
Shere Khan has a British voice, doesn't he? Is it? I'm trying to remember now.
It's something like that.
I'm pretty sure
like,
it is.
like that. It's like
So I feel like that
Yeah,
it's like a precursor to like when after Die Hard, when all these villains in action movies start to become like posh English people. It's almost like presaging that trend in action films by having like a menacing villain being this refined having this refined English accent. So yeah, I do appreciate that. Matty, your vote for performances?
Yeah, it's George Sanders, which is a British actor. So I suppose
Right.
that might have started off early,
Hmm.
just having that kind of, I don't know, intellectually well spoken evil voice, I guess. And I that works really well here, and I think it just works well every time. And like the performances in Lady the Tramp, they're good. They're like standard mid-range Disney, maybe a little bit below some of the films coming up. But I think in terms of like characterful characters in Disney, Jungle Book probably is it's probably in your top 5, to be honest. Like I'd put it higher than like The Lion King. The Lion King probably wins on like Mufasa, but like that's just like one character. This has like character after character after character of just like solid performances that you can hear their voices in your head. Versus like other films, this don't really do that, and Lady and the Tramp doesn't come anywhere near close. So yeah, I'd say the Jungle Book wins that on performances.
To be fair, when we do animated films, I feel like we might as well change this category to characters, because then that encapsulates the voice work as well as the actual characters in the film. Maybe that would make more sense. Too late now, but food for thought. Next time we do the Disney, whatever the next age is. Right, so that's a vote for Jungle Book. What's going to happen from here? Ooh, story. Love the story in Lady and the Tramp. I don't know what it is. It's not really making like a massive point, but just having like showing the contrasting worlds of this like privileged dog and this street rat kind of dog who's actually, but he does have like, even though he's on the streets and he's less privileged, he's very social. People appreciate his plucky nature. All the restaurants are up for giving him food when he comes calling, and like it's depicted their two worlds. I just found really interesting and enjoyable to watch. And then obviously the romance of it as well is another cool aspect of the story. That was less of the appeal for me this time around. It was more kind of viewing the film from the dog's perspective, especially like Lady in the beginning, in like how she experiences life in this house, and when the baby comes and she's unsure why they're not as caring towards her and all this kind of stuff. I was so invested in her little world when like she's not getting taken out for walks when she wants to and all this kind of thing. So yeah, all those parts to the story were good fun for me. Whereas Jungle Book, yeah, I think it's just kind of leisurely goes along. The scenes don't really feel like too connected. It's just kind of here, we'll do something here, do a little skit here, sketch there, whatever. Just didn't click for me. And then the end, it's funny because I've seen Jungle Book 2 when I was a kid as well, quite a few times. And the ending to Jungle Book 2, I was expecting that to be the ending to this film. So I was like so shocked about how I was really underwhelmed. I think this is a bit of a dead ending. Like Shere Khan just kind of turns up, the vultures attack him, and then eventually goes. It's quite abrupt. Whereas Jungle Book 2 is like, I think it's him and his like little girlfriend and Baloo. They're all like hiding in like a arena, and they're banging on these gongs to try and convince Shere Khan to kind of like, they're trying to distract him. So he walks to one gong because he's trying to find Mowgli, and then another person on the gong bangs and he goes to the other side. They're trying to like, trying to lure him away from Mowgli. So I was expecting that to be the end of this film. So when it wasn't, I was a bit sad. So that affected my experience. But yeah, just not a big fan of the story of Jungle Book. Lady in the Tramp gets my vote. Mason, what about you?
Yeah, I was really confused by the ending of Jungle Book as well. In my head, I thought there was a massive fire in the forest. I don't know why I have that idea.
I
in
feel
my
like that's
head.
Jungle Book 2 as well.
Yeah,
That's
it must be.
That's in
honestly.
the new one. In the
Ugh, maybe
remake,
it's like that.
2016
Right, okay.
one. There's a massive fire, I think,
And-
or Mowgli, one of them.
That's why it's such a tease, because when you're seeing Shere Khan run with like the flame that stuck to his like tail, I was like, oh my days, like this is where it's gonna go now. Then just nothing. I was like, was that it? Is he gonna come back? Where's his like revenge? Where's his anything? And the story, yeah, with Jungle Book is kind of like, I struggle to believe all of these all these animals haven't haven't met Mowgli before, because it takes him 2 seconds to walk into each kind of different area of the jungle, and yet they're all like, this is like the mysterious man cub who we don't know about, and yet they all know Shere Khan. So that to me is quite unrealistic, and it distracts me from the story. But the story, yeah, the story in Lady and the Tramp, like you said, as a romance, is actually quite good, and the way that you can genuinely feel emotion for these two dogs going on dates and stuff, like even when they're at the when they go to the top of the hill and there's all the other humans like in their cars looking at the sunset, and they're just sat there, like it's actually really romantic. So yeah, I'd definitely say my vote goes with Lady and the Tramp.
You tramp. Ross, story.
Yeah, Jungle Book's weird because it's like, you know how Alice in Wonderland she kind of just meets random people and it's really disjointed, but it's meant to be like that. Jungle Book's the same, but it's not meant to be like that, I think. And it just doesn't feel it. Yeah, he just kind of like randomly goes meets the apes, and then randomly goes meets a snake, then randomly like meets up with Baloo and sticks with him for the rest of the film. And yeah, I think stuff just kind of happens, and then he just fucks off at the end with the chick from the river. I don't know. That's kind of what happens. And the final like boss battle's really underwhelming with Shere Khan as well. That like it just kind of happens, and they quite easily beat this like menacing. They've been talking about in this the whole film for the first like hour, and then he pops up with like 20 minutes to go, kind of like bums around for a few scenes, finds Mowgli, and then they just set his tail on fire, and he's gone forever. So I don't know. It's a bit. Yeah, it's not. As I say, I remember it being a lot better than that. I remember Shere Khan being in the film a lot more as well. And yeah, but Lady and the Tramp, as I said earlier, it's like it really gives me like Before Sunset vibes. It's that kind of thing, and it's like a really like kind of nice romance story, and you really believe in their relationship, and you really want them to like succeed together, and you're like, it's literally a pair of dogs. Like, why should I care so much? But it's like, I watched that and I'm like, I wish dogs were actually like, I like to imagine dogs actually being like this in real life. Just like when we all go out in the day, our dogs will just like meet up and like, you know, have a little party and stuff. But like the Jungle Book, it doesn't make me think, oh, I wish the animals in the jungle were actually like this. So, you know, that being said, it's definitely got to go Lady and the Tramp.
So that's three votes for Lady and the Tramp. Matt, is it a clean sweep?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kill myself.
Definitely winding you up.
No, I couldn't. I'm not winding him. I'm genuinely not winding him.
I
don't
couldn't hear.
Yeah, it's very weird. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I definitely had sort of a half argument in my head, but I seem to have forgotten it. I think, yeah, the story of the Jungle Book is a little bit disappointing, considering the source material. It's not necessarily dark, but it's definitely better.
I've heard it's really different. I've heard it's really different to the source material, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. The source material is actually way better. It's a lot longer as well, and the monkeys are far more insane. Like they kind of like they're crazy and they do the same stuff every day because they forget. And they basically got like psychosis. So it's a bit dark for children. And I think he actually kills Shere Khan, skins him, and then sells his hide for like 300 rupees. And then like he actually makes like actual progress of like kind of in like integrating back into the man village. Like at first, like he couldn't speak to anyone, and then like he just like slowly. It's like it made a nicer tale, to be honest, rather than kind of the abrupt, unconvincing ending that we got. And I think Lady and the Tramp just does a better job of making you actually rooting for the ending. And the end that they want in sight is like obviously Lady and the Tramp getting together and then having puppies and then having like a happy Christmas. That's what you want since the film basically starts. You kind of know what you're doing and you get that. So I think the story just trumps it.
So that's 1-1 because we gave Jungle Book performances. Forgot about that. Visual style. I don't really thought a lot about this, you know. I was trying to think just now what I actually do prefer. Because I feel like I'm probably in is Jungle Book better? So obviously it's like 10 years apart, but I don't think it's like terribly advanced or anything in terms of in Jungle Book. I did like some of the backdrops going on. I expect like even though I didn't like the ending, I do like some of the work to create this kind of menacing environment with where the vultures are in Jungle Book. So I did like that. And obviously Lady and the Tramp's got that widescreen CinemaScope thing going on. I felt apparently that was a lot of hassle. Like they kind of decided late on they had to like reanimate a lot of shit to get it to fit the widescreen, which sounded tumultuous. But I still thought it looked pretty good. So I don't feel strongly about this. You know, I could even just do I want to go for Jungle Book? You know what? I might just give it a sympathy vote because I'm gonna kill it in some other categories. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Jungle Book. Ross, visual style. What are you thinking? Now I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I thought about this as well, and I think I'm gonna go to Jungle Book. I just really like the way the forest is this animate. Like it's obviously like really well drawn, and it's very very colorful, and all the animals are like colorful and stuff as well. And it's just not it like pops on your screen. I really like that. And I don't know whether it's like got an advantage because it's like 10 years older. Maybe I don't know, but it's like yeah, it just really pops on your screen, and I really like the way everything like the whole backdrop looks and stuff. And like when he goes to the little watering hole at the end, like although I don't like that scene with the girl, it looks cool, and I kind of like I kind of want to be at the little watering hole. Looks nice, and like kind of everything going on there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the Jungle Book actually. I enjoyed that.
You know what? I just thought about it. I changed my mind. I prefer Lady and the Tramp. There's some nice, there's some nice things. I like the little like fade to blacks they do after they do like the flashbacks. I feel like that's like really effective in communicating how like how sad she is in those moments and how disorienting it is when things change in her environment and just the whole way they depict the flashbacks. Then even little things like the calendar to show the passage of time and all this stuff, waiting for the baby to come. Yeah, I forgot about all those details. I like, and also the chase scene. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool at the end. The chase scene with the way the rain's depicted. I remember that as a kid. I really enjoyed them darting through the rain. Yeah, just needed to think about it. So Lady and the Tramp does get my vote. I changed my mind because you're allowed to do that. All right, Mason, what do you think?
No, mine was Lady and the Tramp as well. I really think it's the scene. I think just after they eat the meatballs and you like look up through the city or like in the town and you look up into the sky. I think that's like a really nice looking scene. And you see like, all the stars in the sky and shit. And I also think that the animation style is better in this. I think the dogs move in a better fashion to what the animation is for Jungle Book. And yeah, like you said, there's a 10-year gap here, but it doesn't seem apparent at all, I don't think, between these two films. But I do prefer, the visual style of Lady and the Tramp. I feel like the thunder and lightning is really like striking in this film as well. It sounds like really shit lightning joke, but like it just looks very like really good on the screen. And like you said, I do remember that as a kid being quite like scary, like the bit when the Scottish dog and the other dog were trying to run and chase like the dog catcher, or even the scene with the rat. That is it. As a kid, that would be quite scary, like the way it like looks and turns and everything in the dark. Like, yeah, and that's really good. So,
the rat.
My vote's Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, the rat is scary. Has it got yellow eyes? I think it does. Yeah, and just how black it is. It's darting through the room, causing chaos. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Lady and Tramp is actually clear. Can't believe I didn't realize straight away. Natty, what do you think for visual style?
I'd say they're both quite close. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sick. I think what something I always found funny as a kid is they never really showed like the parents' faces in Lady and the Tramp, and I always thought it was because the artist who made it could only draw dogs and they weren't good at doing human faces. So to find out that wasn't true was kind of disheartening. But I like to think that now. I think it's hard because they're both depicting. Obviously, the jungle is going to be the more interesting style to capture, but I'd probably give it to Lady and the Tramp just because it's an everyday thing that you see all the time, and they still managed to capture it quite nicely and make it seem like quite a romantic setting, and especially a lot of the dusk and twilight that's going on, and then also like the rain as well at the end, and kind of how that kind of reflects like the traumatic situation that's going on. So I'll just give it to Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp, 2-1 up. Tone kind of referenced this a bit in terms of Jungle Book's kind of a leisurely approach in terms of the lack of a clear kind of point A, point B story. But there's still funny, still a nice vibe, I think, in Jungle Book, even if I was a little disinterested. But Lady and the Tramp is, like I said, it was just kind of remarkably captivating for me watching it. It's kind of weird, really, how this is 50 or whatever 70-year-old Disney film, how entranced I was by this this approach and everything that's going on. So yeah, I really like the tone, the romance, the viewing it from a dog's perspective all really worked and was very effective for me. So tone is Lady and the Tramp for me. Ross, what about you?
Yeah, I'd definitely go for Lady and the Tramp. It's just so like it's such a nice watch and just kind of say like relaxing to watch. And so the Jungle Book is just kind of it's I think during like the music, like the Ben Necessities and I Want to Be Like You, it's a good vibe. It's upbeat. I enjoy that. Um, I like the I Want to Be Like You, like that whole scene as well. To be like that whole like song. Like when Baloo comes in the like dressed up as a monkey and he's like they're back and forth like scrub dumble bit, and then they're just going back and forth. It's quite funny. And I like that kind of when it's more upbeat like that. But I think there's too many scenes in the film that feel weird, like the snake scene. It just feels like trippy for no reason. There's no reason to put that like whole snake bit in there. It doesn't add anything to the story really, and like it's stuff like that. And as I said earlier, it's like Alice in Wonderland is trippy and disjointed, but it's meant to be, and that's what makes it good. Whereas this is trippy and disjointed, and then makes it bad, and then makes it unenjoyable in a sense. So but Lady and the Tramp, it's an easy ride. It's easy going. The vibe is nice. The vibe's like on point. It's a good romance, and yeah, Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp's kind of funny as well. Kind of feel like we haven't talked about that. It's also got the humor going for it, like Jungle Book does. Particularly like the bit when she Lady does like an imitation of the Tramp doing an imitation of the Italian waiters, which is like of a Tuesday, like she doesn't understand like that he's doing an imitation. It's kind of funny. And the beaver scene, I remember that distinctly. The beaver scene, everything that's going on, the whole process of getting the muzzle off of him. Muzzle, funny word in COVID times. There's anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, all these people call it a muzzle when you wear a mask. But yeah, when you getting the beaver to take the muzzle off and kind of tricking him, everything about that was really funny. So that's May, are you as in on the tone in Lady and the Tramp, or gonna throw some love back to Jungle Book?
The tone is very confusing at the end of Jungle Book, where it's kind of like eerie, and he's kind of like, "Ooh, I'm just gonna follow this lady now and kind of forget everything that I've been fighting against for the whole film, and I'm gonna listen to you and take your advice, but not because I think it's good advice, just because I'm a boy." So I don't really like that. It's a bit dead, and the tones, yeah, it's just a lot more consistent and a lot more lovable, and yeah, just a lot more interesting and enthralling in Lady and the Tramp.
All right, Lady and the Tramp, another category goes its way. 3-1, unique one. I was trying to couldn't think of anything that I felt strongly about. So this could be a nice extra category. So I was just like music. Was that there's more iconic songs, I guess, in Jungle Book, but there's still some nice like kind of musical interludes in Lady in the Tramp. It's not like iconic, but like the song that plays kind of at the start, I think at the end as well. And I think it's the same song that plays like when they have the dinner, when they have the spaghetti and meatballs and the Italians, like they're actually playing it within the film. Like this is the night, all that. It's a nice song without being especially like memorable compared to something as kind of exuberant as the Bare Necessities or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Might wait this time instead of going in hard straight away and then having to change my mind later on. So Ross, music. What do you think has the better music?
Yeah, I think I kind of made my like I've said about how much I love the songs in Jungle Book, and I think they're a lot more memorable in the Jungle Book, and I think the best points of the Jungle Book is when the music is playing. Whereas like Lady and the Tramp, that is, I think I don't really remember much of the music from that. I remember like he's a tramp, that one. He's a tramp. Yeah. I love him. What tune? No, but yeah, I think the best points of the Jungle Book is where there is music playing and where they're all upbeat, dancing, kind of having a good time, having a little boogie, and like that kind of stuff. So I think the Jungle Book, it uses music. Lady and the Tramp uses the music really well and kind of makes, as you say, like the spaghetti scene, like this is a night. It goes really well with the scene, but I think the Jungle Book uses it as like a excitement point. And the fact does have like memorable songs you can like sing along to. Like I'm singing along like however many years later when I'm watching it now, and I think that says a lot about the music. So yeah, Jungle Book for me.
Not gonna lie, the Siamese song in Lady and the Tramp that comes into my head quite a lot in life. Not gonna lie, the last 15 years, like I genuinely that's just I don't know why, it's just in kind of ingrained in my mind. Just, we are Siamese. But I'm being told it's racist, so maybe I have to try to delete that from my memory file. Apparently, yeah, Paris one of Disney's offensive ones. But genuinely, it's so weird. I don't know why. It just stayed in my brain for 20 years or whenever I first saw this film. So it's just apparently just in my head. So yeah, Mason, that's something decided. Yeah, Mason, music.
I think, like Ross said,
That sounds like a character in what was that show on CBeebies? Like Josie Jump and all that.
Maury.
Yeah, that's Mason music. Sounds like it'd be a character.
Yeah, Mason.
Carry
on. I think the music in Jungle Book is obviously like undoubtedly more recognizable, but watching it in the film, I Want to Be Like You does just kind of slap a bit more, and it does just hit a bit harder. But then equally as well, I actually quite like the song that the girl sings while she's like picking up some water. It's a bit of a banger as well, I think, when she's singing about picking up a pail of water and then taking it home, and then a kid will do the same thing in a few years' time or something. It's quite like it's very calming, I think, that song. But I mean, all in all, like I said, I didn't remember any songs from Lady and the Tramp until it came on. I was like, oh, I know a lot of the words here to He's a Tramp, but I think the music is, I think it's more catchy, to be honest, in Jungle Book, just because I've been listening to it probably for longer. But maybe even quality-wise, Lady and Tramp is better. But yeah, I'll give it to Jungle Book.
My favorite Jungle Book franchise song is not in this film, but it's the start of Jungle Book 2. That's another one that's been in my head. Like, that's a lot in the last 20 years. It's like, you can hightail it out of the jungle, but it never leaves your heart. And it's like, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka. That bit, it's been in my head for a very long time. It's my favorite song of any Jungle Book film. That doesn't really have any relevance to this conversation or this debate over which film has the better music out of Lady and the Tramp and Jungle Book. May, what do you think has the better music out of Jungle Book and Lady and the Tramp? Go on.
Okay. I would say the music blends more seamlessly together with Lady and the Tramp, and it really kind of complements and accentuates the story and everything you're working towards. But the music is just more fun and better in the Jungle Book, which is a hard thing to say, but I say as a film, it'd be Lady and the Tramp. But as kind of like a kids film and just like one-off musical numbers, it'd be Jungle Book. But seeing as Corona Cinema is written on the door, I'm gonna say Lady and the Tramp.
Hold on. So did Mason and Ross both went for Jungle Book? Because I think I'm gonna go for Lady and the Tramp as well. Did we decide how we resolve it when it's level? I can't actually remember. I feel like I don't, cause this is actually important because it's. Is it important? No, it's not important because it will just make it 3-2, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Fine, I'll go for Jungle Book and you get it. So Jungle Book gets a point. Whatever.
You can get the only to vote if you want to get.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oscar.
Music. What has better music? Lady and the Tramp or Jungle Book?
Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp. Okay.
Oh, mad. So Lady and the Tramp wins. Fair,
Damn, Kobe.
fair. so Lady and the Tramp wins the head-to-head 4-1. Demolishing. It's actually very shocking how Jungle Book just disappointed. I'm still kind of shook. I've been right since Thursday, I think, when I watched it. It's this by far the most like more iconic than Lady and the Tramp, and evidenced by the fact that the live action remake made like $1 billion or whatever. And the Lady and the Tramp one, I think, went straight to Disney Plus, and
It went straight to it was one of the first things to go on straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah, no one gave a shit. So it's quite bad. How
It has stuck with me. Obviously, it feels like not like a heartbreak, but like, you know, when you go back to watch something from your childhood and you always think you're going on like dodgy territory because if it's shit, it's shit, and then suddenly your memory's tainted. I thought classic Disney films would be fine. I thought they'd be locked in, like, because you'd seen them so many times. They were untouchable, and this was just like, it wasn't even just a little bit below my expectation. It was just not the same film as I remember as a kid. Genuinely, I remember being so like interested by it, and as an adult, I was just like, this isn't really that good. It's not a good film, really. And then after them watching Lady and the Tramp straight after, just destroyed it even more in my head. It's quite sad.
Yeah, it was rough. Be interested to see if there's any more as we go through the Disney eras. We do it once a year. That's how it's gonna go. So we'll see if there's any more disappointments. That's the head-to-head. Lady and the Tramp wins 4-1.
You're playing, yeah.
Yeah. What's the game?
So with the podcast being about Disney this week, I thought we could do some Disney trivia. So there's 101 questions here. I can either pick at random, or you can pick a random number between 1 and 101. That's the question you get. Or
Is it 101 because of 101 Dalmatians?
it doesn't say that, but it might be.
Because I watched Cruella this week.
Is it good?
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, I thought you would have watched it in cinema.
Oh, I have.
You watched it in cinema, mate?
No.
Isn't nominated for like best
Costume.
costumes?
Yeah, that's why I watched it. Anyway, yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So if we'll go around and do like, I don't know, like 5 questions each or something. Pick a number between 1 and 101, and I'll ask you that question. Just keep track of your scores because I'm not going to count. All right, we ready?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Who wants to go first?
Mason.
Oh yeah, alphabetical. Right, Mason, pick a number.
Alphabetical.
26.
26 is, what is the name of Belle's father in Beauty and the Beast?
I don't know. I just don't know. Does it know? Can I find a friend or something? I don't know. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that in years.
Well, Leonie's here. You can use her as a foreigner friend. There you go. Everyone gets 1 foreigner friend each, and it's Leonie. You can't do me because I can see the answers right.
Nah, I'll forfeit this one. I don't think Leonie knows.
All right.
What was the question?
What is the name of Belle's father in Beauty and the Beast?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. Who's next? Leon.
I thought you were going to do 5 questions for Mason, 5 for me, and then 5 for May.
No, I'll go around.
Fair. 7.
7 is, what is the name of Andy's neighbor in Toy Story?
Sid.
Yeah, Sid. It's a point for Leon. Ooh. All right, Matty.
Number 1, please.
Number 1.
Have a vowel, please.
In what year did Disneyland open?
Oh, bollocks. What the fuck is that?
What
That's not
Disneyland?
It's not about films.
It says Disneyland. That's not what that means.
What year was Mary Poppins?
Alexa, what year was Mary Poppins?
Objection, relevance.
December 1964.
1964.
Same year as Jungle Book.
I'm gonna say 1958.
You're actually not far. It's 1955.
What's Mary Poppins got to do with it?
Because I saw Saving Mr. Banks, which is about writing of Mary.
That makes sense.
Mary Poppins.
Mary
Poppins.
She's that old, isn't she?
Fuck, and she went to Disneyland in that, so I knew it was open then. Anyway,
That makes sense. That's funny. I thought it was just completely random. It's like Ross asked me when did Fort Park open, and I'm like, oh, when did Saving Private Ryan come out?
yeah, because Private Ryan went to Thorpe Park.
I might stop doing that.
Yeah,
Asking random questions.
Just ask a random question got nothing to do with what you've been asked. Yeah, we're gonna start doing that. That would be funny. All right, carry on.
All right, Mason, you pick a number then.
20.
20 is. What was the name of Walt Disney's first cartoon character?
Mickey Mouse.
It was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I've never heard that.
Eat shit.
Fuck's sake.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot, Mason. Leon.
I forgot I needed to say a number. I was waiting for you to
Looking into
ask
my
me a
eyes.
question.
It's so hard to think of another number.
I was waiting for you to ask me a question. I was doing like, what's he doing? Is he looking for a question? 17.
You're not being very adventurous with your numbers. The sorcerer's name in Fantasia spells backwards. Spells what backwards?
Spells what back? I don't even know what the sorcerer's name is. Nah, forget it.
It's Disney.
Oh fuck.
It must be called Yensid.
Uh,
All right,
Sure.
Matty.
Number 2, please.
Number 2. What is the name of Wendy's dog in Peter Pan?
Oh, I know that.
Shh. Can I phone a friend?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Leonie.
go on then.
No,
Don't
now,
look.
now I feel a bit on edge.
Now go on.
Isn't it for like Nana or something?
Yeah, it's Nana.
Come on.
It's a point for Matty. All right, background to Mason.
Two.
That's what Matty just did.
I give it the same number of 101.
Fuck's sake.
What are the chances, eh?
I wasn't listening. 20. Oh no, I've done 20 already.
Oh, fucking hell. You know that one again. If you want.
21.
What is no? Who is Mufasa's trusted advisor in The Lion King?
I know this.
A minute.
Can I steal it?
Does Mr. Bean play him?
Yeah. He's not called Mr. Bean in real life, by the way.
Rowan Bean.
Yeah, Jonathan Bean.
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is? Do you want to find
I've
a
only
friend?
seen Jungle Book a couple times. No.
Relevance.
This is why I don't play the game.
Not really relevant, but sure. You sure I want to phone a friend?
Phone me.
Leonie, what is it?
What is the question?
No, don't ask Leonie. You can phone Matt if you want.
I know what it is though.
What is Mufasa's trusted advisor? Who is Mufasa's trusted advisor in The Lion King?
Oh, don't ask me that, no.
Zazu.
Yeah, Zazu.
Nice.
Oh, cheers for the point, Matty. Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
all right. Cheers for asking Leonie first.
Leon.
27.
Thought you were just gonna stare at me again. Which Disney
That's
princess?
for later.
Which Disney princess did Lily James portray in the 2015 live-action remake?
Cinderella.
Correct. Matty,
Yeah.
number.
Sweet 16.
Nonce. What are the name of the 7 dwarfs in Snow White? Here's the clue. There's 7 of them.
Can I have incorrect numbers answers only? It's more fun.
Yeah.
Dirty. No. Okay, wait.
Oh,
Doc.
they're actually names. Yeah, I'll hold up 7 fingers. I'll put one down if you get it right.
Okay.
I'll give you 10 goes to get the 7.
No. I do this first time.
No, you
mate.
can do it. Okay.
No, I can't.
Doc.
Shit. Doc. I already said that. Happy.
Yep.
Sleepy.
Yep.
Bashful.
Yep.
Droopy.
Nah. You're on the right lines.
Wait, I've already said. What have I said?
I don't know. So I want to tell you ones that you haven't said. You said Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Bashful.
Sleepy.
Yeah. Droopy was like along the right lines of one of them.
It's not sad.
Might be.
Scrappy dude.
Wish there was a song that you could remember it with. Angry.
Nah.
One of them's angry. And like
Grumpy's angry.
Grumpy's angry.
yeah.
yeah.
Shit.
He's grumpy.
Can I phone a friend for the
Grumpy was
last
angry for the last 2.
for the last 2?
Haven't you already used your phone a friend?
He's already used
Have
his
I?
phone a friend
Yeah, you've already used your
Who?
phone.
for the last question. No, did he? Yeah,
No,
he
I
did.
didn't.
He did.
Yeah, I swear you did.
What was it?
I can't remember if he did.
I don't remember.
Good job this ain't recorded.
He definitely did because Leonie's given 2 answers. Or no, Leonie gave
What was
one
the
answer,
name of
then
Wendy's
Matty
dog in
gave
Peter
one
Pan?
answer. So that's 2
The
phone
name
a
of
friend.
Wendy's dog in Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. Tense.
One more wrong guess, so you get 10 guesses to get the 7. You've got 2 wrong.
Mopey.
There's Dopey, not Mopey.
I'll kill myself.
And then
Bit-
Sneezy was the other one.
Bitchy.
Sneezy. All right, shit. Dirty was a rejected name from Disney. To be fair.
Have we had 3 goes each?
I've had 3. Who went first? Yeah. Yeah.
Mason. Yes, you've had 3. All right, Mason, back to you.
I did my last 2 in a row.
No.
No.
Fuck. 100.
And 1 Dalmatians. 100. Which siblings were behind a Disney? No, sorry. Which siblings were behind a number of Disney movie scores and It's a Small World After All? Good luck.
Pass.
The Sherman brothers.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Idiot.
Shermanator.
That's what they call me. All right, Leon.
37.
37. What is Tarzan's adopted mother's name? Ape mum.
Oh, it's 8 mum. So his dad's called Kurtchak, and he's married to. Nah, I don't know, Priscilla.
It's Carla.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
All right, Matty.
69.
Oh, wait. What are the names of the 3 good fairies in Sleeping Beauty? I didn't know. Oh, no, yeah, 3 good fairies. I didn't know there are 3 good fairies, but
I haven't.
oh
even
yeah,
seen,
I know what they are. Huh? Sorry, what?
I haven't even seen that. But fairy godmother. I don't know. Janice, Jean, and Cassandra.
Correct.
Is it sick?
Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
Sound like tons of butter.
Mayweather.
All right, Mason, your last one.
Mayweather, Pacquiao.
What did he say?
50.
Say it again. 50. What is Flynn Rider's real name in Tangled?
Fuck these questions. I don't know. Does anyone know any of the answers to the ones I've
He
had?
only likes Tangled.
Matty loves Tango.
Oh, I fucking love it. I think I only remember his first name.
I'll give you a point if you know his first name.
Can I get that? Can I get that?
Oh,
Can I get that?
I know it.
No.
Stop looking.
I remember the first name, yeah.
On the phone of friends.
He's already had that. Do
It's alright, they do it again. I don't think I have any points.
you want to fit? Do you want 50-50?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Alright. You want the 50-50?
Yeah.
There's either Eugene or Poogene.
I'm gonna go for Eugene.
Wrong.
Final answer.
Eugene Fitzherbert.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen Taco. I know I have seen Taco. I don't remember that though.
Alright. So you got a point for that, I guess.
Cheers, mate.
I guess.
I guess. Alright, Leon.
47.
Last one. 47. I don't know what I was scrolling, I'm literally right next to 50. What high school did Troy and Gabrielle attend in High School Musical?
So it's in Albuquerque. Is it just called Albuquerque High School?
Nah. Mason, you know.
Is it East High?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it is. It's high.
yeah. East Harbour.
Alright. The last one, Matty.
Oh yeah.
Everyone stop staring at me. It's making me uncomfortable.
I just got rejected from a job. You should probably give me a 50-50 if I get this wrong.
All right. I'll give you 100.
Okay. Wait. Oh, a number. 23. Please.
23. Oh, here's an easy one. Who is the fashion designer in The Incredibles?
Edna Mode.
Yeah,
And guess.
correct. Didn't need the 50-50.
I got 2
Nice.
points.
I got
Yeah,
two
how many points did everyone get?
2.
Basically got 2 points as well.
Do you?
We all got 2 points.
Should we do a tiebreaker and whoever answers it first gets to put the
Yeah, go
first
on.
win?
Yeah,
Alright,
make it a semi-achievable goal.
Semi-achievable. Hang on, I need to find one. There's 101 questions here I need to look for. Let me just read all of them quickly.
You hear that?
What?
Yes.
Banging.
No.
It's probably the only faffing about. Okay. All right. How? Yeah. Okay. Genie was stuck in the lamp for how many years before Aladdin found him?
300.
Oh yeah, we all give a number and then whoever gets the closest gets it.
Oh yeah. Do that.
Oh, was it because he's like, oh, when you're stuck in a thing for 600 years, you really get a stiff neck or something. He said something like that. I don't know. 400.
I'm changing one to 1500.
1500.
What did Leon say?
400.
401.
It was 10,000, so Mason wins.
10,000 years trapped in a bottle will give you such a stiff end.
So you think
Shame.
that's the best ever Disney voice performance.
Maybe, probably, potentially, could be, might be a bit pointless.
Do you know what I find really funny though? That Edna Mode that's the director, isn't it? He does
Yeah,
the
Brad
voice.
Bird.
Brad Bird. That's really funny.
Couldn't find anyone who he liked.
He was
To
like,
do
I
the
want someone
voice.
to do a voice like this, and they were like, "Why don't you just do it?" I was like,
I'll do it myself.
"Okay."
So Mason wins. That's the game.
Let's go. I'm Maylin Lee. I wear what I want, say what I want, 24/7, 365. I know, it's a lot. But I don't got time to mess around. All about that hustle, am I right? Poor town. This is gonna be the best year ever. And nothing one's gonna get in my way. All right.
May May, breakfast is ready.
Coming.
It's gonna be me. Is everything okay?
I'm a gross red monster. Don't look at me. Stay back.
This happened already?
What did you say?
Our ancestors had a mystical connection with red pandas.
Are you kidding me?
This little quirk runs in our family. You're so cute.
Sick. I've always wanted a tail.
I'm a freak.
We love you, May. You're our girl. Whoa.
You're you. Any strong emotion
Yes.
will release the panda.
Abby, hit me. Oh.
Do you know how dangerous this is? You'll get whipped up into a frenzy and panda all over.
OMG! My whole life I've been perfect little May May. But maybe I like this new me.
Mama's girls.
It's gonna be me.
Turning Red. A 13-year-old girl named Mei Lee turns into a giant red panda whenever she gets too excited. I feel that's inaccurate. It's not just when she gets excited. It's just any kind of stimulation. She could be angry and turn into a panda. So not a great synopsis. Turning Red, new Pixar film, straight to Disney Plus. Not going into cinemas. Kind of sad for the people who made it. Even have the optimized for IMAX and all that stuff at the end of the film. So obviously it was made with the intention to go into cinemas. Cost like nearly 200 million to make, but no, straight to Disney. It's weird. I don't know why they put it straight to Disney Plus. Like I feel like it would have made money. Like Sing 2 is doing mad numbers. I feel like if you just put a Pixar film out there, it would have made money. Even in Encanto, that made money. So yeah, weird decision from them, but does mean everyone on the podcast has seen the film because it was nice and easily available from home. Turning Red. Mason, your first impressions of the new Pixar joint?
Yeah, I found it quite refreshing, to be honest. I watched it as well. I watched Encanto this week, and that was the first time I've seen that. So it's probably one of the first few like Disney and Pixar films that I've seen in recent years that are new. But yeah, Turning Red, I think it kind of offers something a bit more fresh compared to what we've seen before, where there's no like big villain or anything like that. It's kind of just her going for this kind of coming of age story. And yeah, I watched it. I tried to make my little sister watch it as well. I think she actually enjoyed it. And I thought that was quite telling as well, because she's 14, and I don't think this film typically is trying to appeal to say a 14-year-old is probably looking for maybe younger. But all in all, yeah, I thought it was a decent film actually.
I kind of like these Disney films, or not Disney, Pixar, kids films, not having villains. Because there's something appealing about that. And this is the most like Studio Ghibli film that Pixar probably made, and they often don't have like villains. Some have villains, but it's not the same villain versus hero kind of dynamic you see in a lot of other films. And like My Neighbor Totoro is probably the first one that comes to mind, not having a villain, just people growing up, kids growing up doing their thing, experiencing troubles in a different way. So I like that element to this story. Matty, what do you think of Turner Red? Heard you're not as much of a fan in your initial comments earlier.
Be 70% of my interest. Like it was quite interesting. And I did enjoy it. Like it was nice parts. I probably just didn't watch it when I was ready to watch a film. Probably. I think maybe it felt a bit like more of a chore. But no, I enjoyed the film and I like what it was doing. And I like it definitely has like its own quirk, its own style. And I like the story, and I was also trying to figure out what the right thing to do for like whether she was going to get rid of her panda or not, kind of thing. Like, is it a good thing to use the panda, or is it a bad thing to use the panda? Is the like trying to figure out at the end of the film what was going to be the moral or whatever. I don't know if there was one, but I suppose it's like you got to like kind of break free a bit and do your own thing, and you can't like respect everyone at the same time. So I enjoyed the moral of the film. I think maybe it could have been a bit quicker. Like I don't know how long. It wasn't a particularly long film, but it just felt long to me.
I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest for now as the conversation continues. But in terms of my opinions on the film, but Ross, what do you think of Turning Red?
I really liked it. I thought it was quite like, as you said, it doesn't have like a villain, but I think like it's because the film's about her struggle with like growing up and becoming kind of someone she wants to be rather than someone like her parents want her to be. So I think it's really nice in that way, and I think it will be relatable to a lot of kind of kids growing out there, kids like growing up out there and having like a coming of age movie for them to watch. And yeah, it was really nice, and I think it's just kind of, it was very like warming, and her group of friends are all really nice, that kind of stuff. It was nice to have on your screen, nice to kind of relax to. And yeah, it didn't I mean, I think some of it was a bit like I can't think what I'm trying to say. It was like when she's kind of outside the window waving the period pads outside the classroom, and like I think that it's kind of like that wouldn't happen. I don't think a mum would just wave period pads outside like she would know what it's like. So I think there's
also won't happen. A girl won't turn into a panda. So
well, yeah, that's more of a metaphor though. That's a metaphor, I think, for other things, but like you know what I mean. But yeah, it's apart from that, I think it's like a nice sweet thing, and as I say, a lot of people will relate to this.
Big controversy going into this film was on, if you're on film Twitter, was one review of his Cinema Blend where a guy was basically like, this isn't relatable, it's exhausting to watch, it's so specific, it's going to alienate, it was like Pixar have been trying to tell more like diverse stories, and this has gone too far, it's going to alienate audiences because it's not relatable. And he rightly got destroyed online. They deleted the review, all that kind of stuff, because it was basically just racist and sexist. It was like, why a wider audience? Where's the appeal for boys or whatever, or for people who don't relate to going through having your first period or going through puberty as a 13-year-old girl, all that kind of stuff. And more specifically, like an Asian experience living in Toronto, like an immigrant experience, all that kind of stuff. He basically said, I'm a white guy, so I can't relate to this. So this film's a bit shit and exhausting. And he got dragged for all those opinions, rightly so. But I thought that was just an interesting way to that was basically my first take I heard about the film before I watched it. It's like, okay, so it's going to be quite a specific story, because I don't really know anything about it other than this panda. I'd seen like a few stills of the panda. I didn't know what it was about or anything like that. But I think the specificity of it actually made me like this film a lot more. Like, because if it's just, movies are really useful in just understanding other people's experience that are completely different to what you would know or have any ability to relate to. So seeing the perspective of an Asian immigrant in Toronto and what it means to have the expectations of Asian parents and this kind of thing, exploring that dynamic, I thought was really cool. And I thought I learned something about it. So yeah, I like the film for that reason and many other reasons. Also got a girl on the podcast this week. Go. More specifically, Leonie. Leonie, what do you think of this film exploring a female coming of age story? I think none of us, were any of us female girls going through puberty? I don't think so.
I wasn't personally.
No, I don't think anyone else was. Matty, you? No, I don't think so. Can't hear him anyway. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what it is. It's genuinely, I don't know what this is, mate. Like, whenever everyone else can hear you, but whenever the first like 3 seconds when you speak, I can't hear it, and then when I check the recording, it doesn't pick it up. It's so weird. I don't know what it is. But yeah. We digress. Leonie, what do you think of Turning Red?
I really enjoyed it, and I think it is my favorite film that came out this year. Personally, I really liked how it, like, not talking about the kind of more specific things, but I really liked how it was set in the early 2000s. I don't really know why they did that, but I thought it was kind of like nostalgic to watch it. And I liked how they edited it like to look like an old anime that you would watch in the early 2000s. I think to do with kind of like the more specific things, it was really nice to kind of see a film that talks about that stuff, because there definitely wasn't when I grew up, and actually kind of like would benefit from that stuff. But like obviously I didn't relate to the stuff to do with like kind of strict immigrant parents, but I still like enjoyed it. So I feel like there's so many comments being like, oh, I don't relate to it. But it's like I feel like you can't relate to a lot of films. Like I don't know, but it was still really enjoyable. I think I liked it.
I think it's more relatable when it's more specific in like a weird way. Like if you just made like a really general story that could just apply to anyone, it would almost feel less relatable because there's nothing specific. There's no nuance to it. I feel like that's less appealing storytelling, at least from my perspective. But even like you say, even in terms of the animation, beyond the themes of the story and the setting and everything like that, I thought the animation was pretty cool. Some of the backdrops, like in Toronto, they've almost looked like more hand drawn stuff. Like, I think animation's funny because like it's an achievement to make it look real when you do animation. Like it's crazy what they can do to make it look real. Like when they show like water or grand mountains or buildings or anything like that, and it looks like real life. But then, kind of, what's the point of animation if it's just going to look like real life? You kind of want some something a bit more stylistically interesting. I thought this got like back to something that was a bit more engaging, I thought, in terms of the backdrops. I don't know, Mason, what do you think of the animation going on in Turning Red?
Yeah, I know what you mean. There was that one scene, isn't there, where I feel like you're looking at like koi fish in a pond, and the quality is so insane. But I like how they just kind of show you that for about 10 seconds as kind of one little montage, just to be like, this is what we can do. This is kind of where we're at the moment, but we're going to stick to this style. And it's kind of similar to what Leonie was saying. I think the style of this film, it feels almost like a kind of like a cartoon superhero from, like, say, like the 90s or the early 2000s. The way that when the main group of girls like show some sort of emotion, like their eyes will change into a really typical kind of like, I forget, like this really like typical like animated style, and it looks really nice. And I feel like we're supposed to have left that behind in, say, like the 90s or the 2000s, but they bring it in quite subtly here, and it feels like a little nod to people who do enjoy that kind of thing. And I think it's a nice blend the way they do it. Like I said, how you have those scenes where you can see the quality of what they're capable of, but instead they're sticking to a specific style, which I think is more impressive, instead of just streamlining down this amazing high quality.
For all those moments, like when like you say, like those kind of animated moments, especially on her like friends' faces, and then even with her mum as well, were really funny. I thought particularly the kind of shortest friend in the group, she's like the most feral. I mean, that's like a thing about these like teenage girls going through puberty. They're just kind of their like feelings are so feral in that period. And the littlest one is the most one. Like every kind of reaction she has is like ah. It's just so like aggressive. It's really funny. But I guess the comedy work for you. If not everything works for you with this film, when you're on your first viewing, then some of the comedic moments hit home.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just do that for now. Just wait like 2 seconds. Unmute, wait 2 seconds, then do it.
Oh. No, yeah, I did find the film quite funny. And like, I think a lot of the things that like you find deep and scary or like embarrassing, like in the moment, is captured really well. You know, even though it's not deep later, but like when she takes all those drawings and just puts them on the desk in front of that kid at the shop, and like everyone at school starts like putting them up, that's just like inner death right there. And I think it captures that, like the emotion as well, and the comedy works really well. And it's, I don't know, it's funny that I find it was a bit ridiculous at the end, when considering the whole thing is just her turning into a panda. But like, yeah, I enjoyed the charm of it, and I think yeah, it's just everything pulls together nicely when I think about it. It's just at the time I was just waiting for it to end a little bit. But I like the new equilibrium that it reaches at the end as well. But I feel like it's a bit unrealistic that the parents would just like accept, yeah, this secret that we've been hiding for like generations, we're now just gonna like flaunt again. So I suppose there's a message in there somewhere to like kind of accept new things, maybe.
I think it's just like embrace some of the more chaotic sides of your personality, because ultimately, like, the panda was destructive in some ways, but also helped her grow as a person in other ways, become more confident, make friends, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like, yeah, kind of, yeah, it might be a bit messy in those moments, but the panda still brings a lot of value to her as a person. I also like the ending, because I thought, like we talked about not having a villain, but then you kind of have this kind of villainous moment which you would normally have. Like normally that would be the whole story building up to this giant monster destroying a stadium and whatever and wreaking havoc. But having that as like her mum, she's just she's had so many like repressed feelings and it's just out of control in that moment. Before that was like a nice way to do it. Ross, was that a part of the story that worked for you? Not having a villain, but having this moment where her mum turns into this enormous version of the panda that we'd seen before.
Yeah, and I think it suits the tone of the film as well. Because as I say before, it's all quite like more like low key and like quite like cute and wholesome. So her mum's not going to be like a threat. Like usually you see a massive monster like that, it's probably going to like in any other film, it's going to try and like kill people. But like it's not going to like harm anyone or this. She's just trying to get May, and it's just a nice moment like watching all of the other family members turn into these different kind of pandas as well, and how like fucking massive the mum is compared to the other ones. It's really fun. It's like funny as well, and that kind of it works as like a comedic element as well, which is also why it's not like scary and suits the tone of the film. So I think that's really good, and like as you say, it's kind of like a representation of her kind of suppressed emotions, like, and you even get when they go up to the like panda god, you even get to see her as like a emo teenager just kind of sitting there like, mom, go away. And like I think it's like nice to see that she will also kind of have been through the same thing, but maybe wasn't as like confident or like never like got to break those barriers. And so maybe like her daughter doing it is like it's like a fulfillment for both May and the mum. So I think that's like a nice element of the film, and I think that did work really well.
The only part I didn't really like was just the whole like scheme of making the money off like renting the panda out. There's that whole like, I don't know, the whole montage, the whole like dynamic of that. I don't know what it was. I just didn't. It's like, would kids really pay? Where are the kids getting all this money from to pay to take pictures and hang out with the panda? Does that because that takes up quite a significant chunk of the film, is them trying to generate the money to go see this early 2000s boy band. I feel that's like, who's that boy band's probably like In Sync at that time, probably like representation of them, I guess. I'm not familiar with early 2000s boy bands, but yeah, that whole conceit of them making the money, that was like my least favorite part of the film. I don't know, Mason, do you have any thoughts on that part of the story?
I didn't mind it. Like the whole reason it seemed like they were all friends was because they all liked that boy band. And I think if you let kids have a power like that, it felt quite natural that they would exploit it for money if they could. And especially the fact they weren't just using the money for anything, it was to go to a boy band concert, just seemed even more like realistic in my head. Like you said, I know it's a panda, so it's not realistic, but the way they would use that to their advantage felt like that, especially like when he's like, the panda needs to be there, otherwise my party's going to be shit. Like that's just so funny. Then you have this weird like undertone where he's trying to like overwork her as the panda. He's like, get down here now and earn your money. Like there's just, yeah, it feels exactly how kids would respond in that environment. But the only thing I kind of felt like when they were like creating like merchandise and stuff, that's when I was like, how the hell did we struggled to get 4 Corona Cinema t-shirts? How the hell did these kids have like all of this merchandise straight away? And that's when it kind of like, it's just a bit ridiculous being like, yeah, it's a cartoon, so it's fine. But I like it when they're like, I don't even know what they're using. There's like pipe cleaners and they're like gluing stuff together and they're in like a little factory whilst they're watching the boys play football or something. They're just like passing along each piece. And then they like break back into being girls again. They're like, oh, stop doing that and help me watch boys as they're playing sport or something like that. So I think that, yeah, it does well. It does well.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't like sitting there like, oh, this is long, I can't be asked to watch this right now. It's just a bit like, it was just, the kid's gonna have the money to do this and this really work. It's kind of annoying me a bit in the moment, not to too much, didn't detract from the film too much for me. I don't know, Leone, do you have any thoughts on that part of the film, the whole heist they're trying to pull off to get this money, go see this boy band? Would you have paid to go see a red panda if you have the chance?
I definitely would go to pay to see a red panda, a massive red panda like that.
I feel like you would have been like the one who's just trying to hug it all the time.
Yeah, I would have been like that little that little one, yeah. No, I think it was really kind of realistic in a way that is kind of how you act when you're younger. You'll come up with these really stupid ideas like, oh well, if we just like sell this and make all these like stuff, then we'll be able to get money to do this. And like obviously in real life it never really worked out, but yeah, no, I thought it was kind of realistic in a way where they kind of came out with these wacky kind of like ideas to get money. Obviously they had the advantage of having a friend as a massive red panda, which I'm sure no one actually did when they were a teenager, but no, I thought it was cute.
I'm trying to remember the song that the boy band does, or else I feel like you'd remember it. I feel like you've been listening to it.
I was singing it for like an hour after the film finished, but I can't think what it is now. It was really catchy though.
It's like catchy. It's like so perfectly generically boy band,
Yeah.
but also like catchy. Like you can kind of, it's like, I don't know.
I don't think it was like that.
It's not like that. Either way, yeah, it's kind of when they perform it, when the mum turns into the big pandas and attack, and they stop performing it to like, what happens in that moment? They perform it because they're trying to calm her down or distract her. What are they doing?
You just need to sing, don't you? They just need as many people to be singing to help the ritual.
Right.
But they say like their aunties are very traditional, and that's why they sing that like traditional song. And to talk about the aunties, the entrance scene of the aunties is actually so elite. And they all walk in, and then it's also like equally as matched when they all turn into pandas. They will like pick up their little piece of like jewelry and like smash it down to the floor.
Yeah, that was very superhero-y as well in that sequence. Like, yeah, or like Power Rangers transform. Do they say transform? Was that Transformers? What do Power Rangers say? Isn't there a word they say when they turn into Power? I don't know. Mighty Morphin. I don't know. So, any more thoughts on Turner Red? I feel like everyone kind of ranges from kind of liking it to really liking it. Or Matt, I feel like Matt doesn't hate it or dislike it. It's just kind of didn't quite hit. Might be improved upon on second viewing. Is that a fair assessment, Matt?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I like thinking about it. Like I did enjoy it. I think I just, busy week, lots of revision, late nights. I think if I actually watched it when I wanted to watch a film, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. And like, especially towards the end when it starts heating up as well, like the auntie scene when they come in, I really do like that. And the boy bands, it's all just, it is funny. Like it's really well done. So fair assessment, reevaluate. I enjoyed it.
I recommend the Disney released it's like 45 minutes, like a documentary about like the making of it kind of thing, just with the filmmakers and stuff. It wasn't like, it was kind of insightful, but not, it was more because it's like all the leadership like team on the film were all women, which is like obviously very rare in Hollywood. And I think definitely the first time for like a Pixar or a Disney film, and just kind of exploring their dynamic. And also the director as well, she's really cool. Obviously did that short film Bao, Oscar-winning short film Bao, which they showed before Incredibles 2 when that was out. So she's really cool, has a lot of good ideas. So I enjoyed seeing how they constructed this story and some of the inspirations for it. So I really enjoyed this. I feel this is going to age quite well in the Pixar canon, and the fact that like we talked about, it's got like quite a distinct visual look to it compared to a lot of recent Pixar films will help it age well over time. Any more thoughts on Turner Red, guys? Anyone?
I was gonna say as well, the entrance for the auntie is kind of like Meryl Streep's in The Devil Wears Prada. It's like that kind of thing. I thought that was really cool the way they did that. I was really like it when characters have really good like entrances. So yeah, I just wanted to say that as well.
Yeah, not gonna lie. If you have a good entrance, you're probably gonna be a good character. Realistically, has there ever been like a iconic entrance and then you get to the end of the film, it's like, oh, that character's a bit dead. So I feel that's not a thing. All right. At Corona Cinema on Instagram, at Liam Waite 98 on Twitter, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, Podbean. Next episode, so I'm going to talk about the Oscars as like the main review, I think. And the next episode is how I've outlined it. And then have the Coronis in place of the head-to-head. I've got new categories for the. Should I just say the categories now? I'll put them in the WhatsApp chat, and then you can do it there. But I might as well say it now. So the Cronies,
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna split it into like the head-to-head, some awards for the head-to-head, and then awards for the new releases. So like for the head-to-head, I'll do it like the categories we do in it. So like best performance, best story, best visual style, best tone. So that's like the head-to-head awards, and then new releases more generic: best picture, best director, best actor, best supporting actor. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of doing like. No, I need to think about it more, and then I'll decide how to like do the voting system and stuff. But yeah, that'll be so. Cronies and Oscars is the next episode. No specific film. So yeah, until then, go well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you hear me?
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.